So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. I know I haven't posted in a while. My life has been very busy and more busy, so I haven't really had a chance to really post. I hope you all can hear me. You know, I'm going to take my channel into another vibration and frequency. There are certain things I don't think I'm going to be talking about as much. I mean, I want to touch on things that I feel need to be talked about. I'm not going to be totally ignorant to what's going on around me, of course. But one thing I have to remember about myself is that I try my best to never hurt people. But sometimes that is a hard endeavor to accomplish. And I got into a disagreement with someone that I really like some weeks back. I really like this person. I have nothing but, you know, positive feelings about this individual. And he and I had a disagreement. And I don't know if his intentions were pure towards me. I don't know. But you know what? The spirit, the universe said, you know what, Seer? At this point in the game, come close. Other people's intentions don't matter anymore. It's your intentions. That's the only thing that matters because the universe is looking at the lessons you are supposed to learn. Because he said something to me that triggered a response from me that was very nasty. But my intentions towards people, unless you're an enemy, of course, have always, until you do something to change that, my intentions towards anybody is never negative. So I am not responsible for other people and their intentions. I am not responsible for how other people feel about me, especially if I'm just being my authentic self. I can't be anything other than that. You know what I mean? I am being my authentic self and who I am supposed to be. So I'm not responsible for anybody else's intentions towards me. So whether that person had good intentions towards me from the get-go or not, it's really not even an issue. I had good intentions towards them. So the best thing for me to do is to continue on my own spiritual journey and not worry so much about other people's intentions. Because what one thing that I have learned in this little life of mine, in this little life of mine that I'm going to let shine, one thing that I've learned is that I am a spiritual warrior and I am a survivor of many, many different things. I have I have survived public Holocaust, major Holocaust, and private Holocaust. We all go through our own private Holocaust each and every day. We go through it in our families from family trauma. We go through it with our peers from peer to peer trauma. We all go through our personal holocaust. So at this point, I'm only going to be guided by what the universe and the spirit, that great divine high spirit, I am going to be guided by that. Nothing else. So if a person chooses to walk out of my life, I respect that. I will not challenge it. If a person feels a ways about me, I will respect that. I will not challenge it. If I did something to wrong someone, I ask for forgiveness. If they can't give me that, I respect that. If I have to get some karma for that, then I respect that. See, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. I've been around for a long time in this universe. And it actually took something funny or something comical, something that wasn't to be taken seriously, but it actually took that to make me realize my spiritual value and my spiritual worth. Do you know your spiritual value? Do you know your spiritual worth? My heart is becoming so overwhelmed with gratitude and love and compassion and empathy, so much that negativity cannot reside in my dimension or in my reality like that. We all know that to keep a balance, there is a certain amount of negativity that has to exist only to keep balance, not to create chaos and mayhem and division and disruption, but only so we can learn from it. Now, remember, I told you in the beginning of the video I had been busy. I had been busy kind of because I don't know if I told you all this, but I don't live alone. This is my condo, but my brother lives here with me. He has children. They don't live here. But last week I woke up and my oldest niece was here. Her mother put her out. Her and her mother, she and her mother just don't get along for whatever reason. My oldest niece is about 19. She'll be 20 next year, I believe. And I let her know and I told her, I said, listen, if you don't have anywhere to go, now this is not the life that I wanted, of course, but sometimes the universe has a bigger job for you to do. And I'm not giving myself any accolades or anything like that. But I told her, if you ever need to come here, I don't want you to feel unwelcome. If you ever feel like you don't have anywhere to go, don't feel like that you're going to be on the street. I said, you can come here. No problem. So I've been, doing some things. So my heart is so filled with gratitude and love that I'm even in a position now. When I lived in that little one bedroom shack over there in Hyattsville, Maryland, I could not do something like that. So that is why I say my heart is filled with it's becoming overwhelmed with gratitude and compassion and empathy because we are shifting from a lot of us are shifting out of these heavier, lower vibrating emotions into a more fifth dimensional 4D, 4D, 3, 4D, 5D type of thinking. and I'm starting to feel it. That is why I do not want a lot of negativity around me. That is why BS has no place around me. When I think about a person, changing gears for a moment, when I think about a person like Andrew Tate, for example, I feel bad for him because number one, he's wearing a mask. That's not the real Andrew Tate. A lot of these men, they're wearing masks. That's not who they really are. A lot of these men are gay. And this is not to turn into a bashing session or shaming session, but the shaming is the fact that they are ashamed of themselves. And it's not about the sexual orientation, it's about the content of your character. It's about your spiritual level and your spiritual evolution that you're supposed to be going through and how you are stifling it with ideologies that don't serve you. You're never going to be able to make another human being submit to your will. We have all had darker past lives. We've all done things in our past lives that we're not proud of. If you can remember them. See, I can remember mine. I've had some very dark past lives. But the difference between me and others is that I cleaned up my karma. I cleaned things up. I've been some very interesting people in my past lives. And one of them, I'm not even going to, I can't even, I don't even want to get into that. But what I'm saying is that we carry over a lot of these failures from past lives and successes. Andrew Tate and people like him, I understand the disdain and the dislike for him because of the allegations that are currently pending against him. I get all that. We're human beings. We're going to feel a certain way about stuff. But Andrew Tate has been dealing with darker ignorance, blindness, and just low vibrating lifetimes after lifetimes, low vibrating lives, lifetime after lifetime, where he chooses blindness, ignorance, ego, and darkness. And I'm using him as an example because for some reason, his spirit, I feel like, is on my mind. Because you don't see him in social media as much as you used to. And what he doesn't understand is that all of these things that are happening to him, that's the universe tapping him on his shoulder saying, hey, listen, I'm trying to offer you a way out of this mess. It's not through religion. It's not through Islam. It's not through Christianity. It's not through Buddhism. It's not through ideologies where you think that you're superior because you are a certain gender. It's about releasing to the spirit. I'm sorry, it's about surrendering to the spirit, not the demiurge gods you have created in these religions. Andrew Tate has a lot of struggles with his own sexual orientation, but I know people are going to say, oh no, how could you say that? No, I can see it. Same thing with Justin Bieber. These people are bringing over their unhealed past life trauma, their unhealed quantum dimensional trauma. Evidently, evidently, they are still attached to whatever went on with them in a past life. They're still attached to it. And they're choosing to stay attached to it. They are choosing darkness over light. And that is why I said I feel bad for him. That is why I said that. Because he would rather live in darkness. He would rather live in the darkness that he knows than rather experience the light that everyone knows, if that makes sense. Well, not the light that everyone knows, of course, but the light that he doesn't know or understand. He has had many, many lifetimes as a dark figure, causing harm to other people with his mouth and his ideologies. But it's not just him. Same thing for P. Diddy. Same thing for a lot of people who have these, these lower vibrating, negative, darker ideologies and intentions to control and manipulate people. See, Andrew Tate thought he was controlling and manipulated people. Then he ran to religion because he found out that he was the one being controlled and manipulated, actually. But there is a way to escape that. And I'm here to tell you how. You have to face your demons in totality. You have to make amends with your demons. You have to make amends with the prospect and the facts that you've caused harm to countless people, not just in this life, but in countless lifetimes. That is how I overcame my, let's just say, bad karma, for a lack of better words, or in layman terms. I've had lifetimes over many lifetimes and experiences to clean up my karma. I'm not saying that I'm perfect now. I'm not saying that I have not made mistakes in this life, but none of them compare to the atrocities that I have possibly experienced in past lives. This life that I'm living now is just another extension of me cultivating my spirit and cultivating the higher vibrational frequencies that I'm supposed to cultivate to raise to a higher level. I'm not supposed to be here arguing and fussing and beefing with people. That's not why I am here. So I'm no longer going to be participating in that. It's not that I was anyway, but that's just not who I am. If I find that there's an individual that wants to cause conflict in my life, I'm removing them or I'm going to remove myself. or the universe will remove you. And if the universe removes you, that's a whole different ball game. You have to come to terms with who you are and what you're here to do. And just because you are in darkness, it doesn't mean that you have to stay there. You don't have to remain in ignorance, egotism, confusion. You don't have to remain there. But unfortunately, so many men, I'm going to say so many so called straight men and women too, I'm not going to just put it all on men, but so many people in general, I'm going to say it like that. So many people choose darkness, and I'm not talking about darkness in terms of, dark matter or wisdom. I'm talking about darkness as an not egotistical, I'm sorry, as in ignorance, blind ignorance. You have to face those demons. You have to face them. You have to overcome them. You have to come to terms with what you have done. And you have to surrender to the spirit. Andrew Tate and his brother, they have to surrender to the spirit. And not just them, a lot of these people who have those ideologies. You have to allow love to lead your heart. You have to allow love to lead your life. And I'm not talking about being a punk. I'm not talking about being a sucker and letting people walk all over you. See, that is what people think love is. They think love is allowing people to abuse you and to misuse you. No, love is the antithesis of that. It is the total antithesis of that. That's not what love is. Love is standing up for yourself. Love is loving yourself enough to raise your vibration and frequency. Love is loving yourself enough to come out of your darkness. You're the only one keeping yourself in darkness, just like I was keeping myself in darkness. And how do you come out of darkness? By telling the truth, by being a truth teller, not to hurt people. Because a couple of videos, I was going to make, I'm going to be honest with you. I was going to, the person that I had an issue with, even though he and I went our separate ways, this particular individual, we went our separate ways. I was still feeling a ways about it. But the spirit said to me, Seer, you didn't lose anything. Because I kept saying to myself, I gave this person time, I gave them energy, I gave them a lot of free spiritual advice. Spirit said, Seer, that's what you were supposed to do in that moment. You didn't lose anything. You did not lose anything. Sometimes people just outgrow each other, and I'm okay with that. So I had to do some reflection. That lesson and experience, that was for me to take some time to look at what I need to work on for myself. That there's still some glitches I need to work on. So that's where I'm at now. arguing, beefing, those things just don't appeal to me. And if I feel like that's where something is going to go, I'm going to separate myself from that. I'm not going to be around people who I feel like I'm going to have a contentious relationship with, and I don't care who it is. You can overcome the darkness in your life, but you have to overcome it with love and compassion and empathy. And again, I'm not talking about the type of love that tells you you have to sacrifice yourself for other people. That's biblical and that's religion. No, I'm talking about the type of love that is rooted in strength, that is connected to the source of all creation, the great divine spirit. The type of love that teaches us lessons, but also gives us blessings at the same time. That's the type of love that I'm talking about. You can't find that in a tarot card. You can't find that in a candle. That's something that's within you. No spell work will work for you, no matter who you go to, if you are not aligned correctly. You can go out, you can go pay $1 trillion. But if you are not aligned with the correct frequencies, nothing will work for you. I choose love. I choose gratitude. Love and gratitude are superpowers. I choose peace and balance. Happiness can be subjective sometimes, depending on the situations. We are still having somewhat of a 3D existence. But more and more, I feel this reality shifting to higher states of consciousness. More and more. And like I said, the reason I brought up Andrew Tate was because his spirit was on my mind for some reason, because he's under attack right now. But he's not under attack from the people that he thinks he's under attack from. Andrew Tate and his brother are under attack from their own past lives. The universe is trying to warn them, hey, listen, you have to turn away from your dark ways. You have to turn away from those destructive, egotistical ideologies. And you have to take your mask off and live in your truth. I'm not saying, that's just my personal opinion. When men act hyper masculine like that, to me, that is a sign of homosexuality. And that's not to shame anyone. That's not to bash anyone. That's not what I'm here to do. People should be able to live in their truth. But I think one of the greatest sources of pain that's inflicted on innocent people is because people don't live in their own truth. And then people say, well, people can't come out the closet because, we live in such a homophobic world. Bullshit. I came out the closet in the early 2000s, late 90s. In the black community, if I could do it, being called the F word constantly, going through all of that trauma. If I can do that, these men can come out the closet. They just choose not to come out the closet because they want to benefit from both worlds. If things happen to you growing up that are still affecting you now, then you need to go and get counseling. You need to go and see a psychiatrist. You need spiritual healing, spiritual counseling. Notice I said spiritual not religious. I said spiritual. And I know I may be speaking like this, but this is not to be harsh. This is just the passion inside of me. I can't talk any other way. So if my voice sounds aggressive, believe you me, there's nothing but love in my heart. And that love in my heart protects me. We should not have to keep dealing with people and their past life trauma that they keep bringing over and reliving throughout each lifetime that they incarnate in. This is not the first life that P. Diddy had where he was a predator. This isn't the first lifetime he had like that. I'm not going to go through all of his lifetimes, but let's just say he had a close connection to a lot of French sadists during the 17 and 1800s. I really like that song by Gloria Estefan called Coming Out of the Dark because it's really a song about triumph. Because I believe Gloria Estefan, who I adore, I love her. She oops, what was that the um she got into a really bad accident at some point in her career and she almost died. And I think after that, that's why she made that song Coming Out of the Dark. That's what I'm talking about. She almost lost her life. And even within that, whatever she experienced in that, it must have been a beautiful thing. And she must have got a message from Spirit, hey, sing that song. But see, the problem is we have become too analytical and we've become too dependent on AI that nobody is spiritual anymore. We don't listen to our intuition anymore. We don't we don't listen to the spirit anymore. We don't listen to the divine spirit. We don't listen to it because we've been told by different individuals that that's a delusion. There's no such thing. Read this book. Yeah, you have book smart. You're a book spiritualist, but there's nothing inside of you. And that's not to shame anyone because anybody can change. Anybody can come out of the dark and come out of that darkness. Anybody can. I've been down that road. I've been down that dark path. Spiritually, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about taking a pen and putting or striking a what was the saying? Taking a doll and sticking pins in it. I'm not talking about nothing like that. I'm talking about deep level quantum magic, reincarnation, past lives. We are supposed to learn something from each life that we go into. And what I am seeing is a pattern of people who are not learning. Andrew Tate is not learning. His brother is not learning. We're so busy reporting on celebrity gossip, but we're not looking at the quantum bigger picture. Why are these people in this world, is my question. What are they here to learn? Why didn't they learn these lessons in the other 15 lives before this incarnation? Those are the questions we really need to be asking. And if they are not learning these lessons and they are inflicting pain, continuous harm, and pain onto innocent people, then what needs to be done about that? Forced vibrational raising, meaning forcing the frequencies to rise and vibrations to rise in them. It's almost like, I want to say forced, not forced, I'm sorry, it's almost like electroshock therapy, which is the last resort for people with severe mental problems like depression and stuff like that when medication does not work. I'm not giving medical advice, I'm just commenting. So they do electroshock therapy. Maybe some of these people need vibrational shock therapy, where we shock them into a higher frequency because they don't seem to be, you know what I'm saying? It's not about if they're sleeping with a man or sleeping with other. It's not about that. It's about the bigger quantum picture that's going on and how they are constantly incarnating into the physical world, causing problems for the rest of us. And something has to be done about that. I know we're here to learn lessons, but we're also here to ask questions. We're also here to, study certain things as occultist, as spiritualist. Because people like the people that I've named, particularly like Andrew Tate, they have a lot of influence over people's minds. And it's not so much them personally, it's the people and the minions, and I hate to call them that, but it's the minions that they create that cause problems for the rest of us. Slowly but surely, Andrew's mask is coming off. His mask is coming off. And what he doesn't understand is he keeps thinking, let me say it again, he keeps thinking that he's being attacked by all of these people. No, they're being allowed to attack you because the universe is trying to get your attention. It's the same thing with Umar Johnson. Same thing. He resides in darkness. Same thing. Past lives where they have not learned their lessons. Then you incarnate here to learn a lesson, or you get another chance to learn your lesson and to heal, but you don't take that opportunity. What you do is you revert back to the same toxicity that got you here in the first place. Vibrational shock therapy is what some of these people need. Frequency shock therapy. Anyway, I just wanted to come through right quick and I just wanted to say that, and this is no disrespect to any of those men. It's just that I can see what's going on. I know what's going on. And I just felt like talking about that. Anyway, this is the occult view. And until we meet again, thank you.